Hello, my name is Tina, and in this video we continue with the Q&A conundrum. Question arose, how do you type Q&A and after the Q and after the A, the first letter of the first word in the sentence is capitalized. I addressed that in another video. When that question did come up, however, this suggestion was posed, and the suggestion that I'm going to cover in this video was given not in a video format, but the directions were given in a written format. So that's why I'm creating this video, is to try to do it step by step in a video, which might be more useful to some people. The website that was given as referral is wordribbon.tips.net. That's wordribbon.tips.net. And this page is called Using Alternating Styles by Alan Wyatt. When I first read these directions, they sounded kind of familiar, and then I realized that very similar directions to these were given to me by a fellow transcriptionist named Glenn, and those directions helped me figure out how to have one speaker be everything they say be in bold, and then the next speaker, speaker two, everything that they said be not bold, and to alternate that way between what was said by person number one in bold and then following what was said by person number two not bold. So those directions on how to set that up is very similar to what I'm going to cover right here. Again, what I'm covering right here is using alternating styles, and this is to set it up so that you have the letter Q, then what was said in the question, and the letter A, and then what was said in the answer, but the Q and the A itself are capitalized and in bold, while everything else that's then said, the actual question itself and the actual answer itself, are not bold. So I'm going to go on with these directions and let's see where we get with them. It's quite lengthy, so hang in there with me. So we're reading word for word. For the sake of this example, let's say you want to follow the Q&A scenario. You want each question paragraph to begin with a bold capital Q and use a hanging indent. You want each answer to pretty much be the same, but use a bold capital A. Here we go. Number one, display the home tab of the ribbon. And this is for Microsoft Word 2007 and newer. And I will see if I can get it to work for the older versions as well. But these directions are for, again, Microsoft Word 2007 newer. Okay, so I actually went through this whole step process and got a few snags. So I'm going to go through it again, and hopefully this time it'll go a little quicker and you'll be able to follow along more easily. So we need to be on the home tab, and then we need to go over to the change styles, and there's this tiny button here, and when you click on it you get this screen, and you're going to go down here to these little three buttons, and you're going to click the left button for new style. And first, we're going to name our first one questions, because that's what we're going to have is questions. Helps to be on home row. Go to format, numbering, bullets. Click on a bullet you would normally not use. So I'm going to use this colorful one. Define new bullet. I'm going to use the symbol Q for questions. Now in the font, if you want that Q to be bolded, you would click here bold, and also you can change the size or the font that you're going to use. Click OK. Okay, so we have our cue. And now we're going to go to do the same thing over again and set it up for answers. So this button and this button, then we're going to name it answers, format it, numbering, bullets, pick an odd bullet that you would normally not use, define a new bullet, pick a symbol, it's going to be the letter A, and you want to change the format, you want to make sure it's bold, okay, and so now you've got your A. After you've done your answers, you want to make it jump back to questions. So the style to follow the paragraph will be questions. Okay? Now we already had set up the questions, but we want to make sure we modify that so that the style that follows the questions is the answers. Okay? Now, we're at questions. The cue is bold. And then we type the question. And when you hit enter, it gives you the A, and this is the answer. Now you'll notice that it went from this here to over this way, and it jumped. And if I click on, right click on this box and left click modify, we can see that the indent was a half. Okay, that's our answers, it's a half. Now if I right click on questions and click modify, we can see that the left indent is at a quarter. So to make them both half, we'll go to format, paragraph, indentation, and we're going to change that to half. Or you can change it to both be a quarter, whichever you want to do. So now the answer is same as questions. Say you actually wanted all of the question to be bolded and all the answer to not be bolded. Okay, so you go into questions, you go into right click on questions, left click on modify, click on format, go into paragraphs, go into formats, click on font, and here is where you would change it to be bold. Now it's bolded. Answers, modify, format, font, and wait, it's regular. So why is it typing bold? Okay, it's because the style is based on the questions. So you can do it based on normal, or you can just click on no style, and that should change it. Yes, it did. Now the A is still bolded. A is still bolded. That's because the A itself is not part of the sentence. You're going to have to, again, you would go up in the answers, right click, left click modify, go into formatting, change the numbering because you're going to have to change that bullet format. Okay? So that's why that's like that. And the more you play with this, the more you would be able to fix it to whatever way you want it to be. But that's the gist of how it was set up according to the directions on the website I gave you. Well, I hope you found this a little bit useful. Obviously, you're going to have to adjust it to what your needs are, but that was following pretty closely to the directions that were on the website. So I hope that helps you out. Thanks for watching and best wishes. I totally forgot that I was also going to try to attempt this in the older versions of Microsoft Word. So here it goes. Click on the tab Format and then Style, and we're going to try a new style. We're going to name it Question. Format. Numbering. I'm going to go with this odd shape here, these 4 diamonds. Customize. Font. Bold it because that's what we were going to do. Bullet is actually going to be a letter. Normal text, we'll go with Q. Now, as you can see here, you could change it. So if you're normally typing in Arial, you're going to want it to be Arial. Or if you're typing in New Times Roman, you're going to want to go down here to New Times New Roman and click that so that it matches your font. Okay? The indent's at 1/4. The text position is at 1/2. Okay. And we're going to hit OK again and apply. And we're going to want to do that again. Format, style, new style. We're going to name it Answers. Format, numbering. I'm just going to pick arbitrarily this strange one here. We're going to customize the font, bold. And I'm going to make it Times New Roman. Bold. Okay. I want the indent, and the indent is at the same as the other one was. We want Times New Roman, and we want an A. Okay. And we want the style to follow the answers to be the questions. So we're going to change that to questions. Okay. Apply. Now we got to go back to questions format. And we want to modify it. And we want the style that follows it to be answers. Okay. I don't see it. Okay, so this is where you, okay, I'm going to apply. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is where you would change it. So first we're going to start out with questions, and it should give me a Q when I type. And it's not. So I'm going to customize it, and I'm going to see what happened here. It should have been a Q. So that's where we're, there we go. Test this out. It is working. If you needed spacing, you need to go to modify. Okay, so that was Microsoft Word before 2007, and it worked. So hopefully you can find a way to set that up, and good luck to you. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.